Well, that's 4 parts I've found now in the space of about 3 metres. So aluminium parts out here laying in the soil. Probably, oh hang on, whoa. I have just spotted a really big chunk of
paddling jacks, driving on the tracks, and so much more. Come along with all things outdoors. 1, 2, 3, and...
G'day folks, welcome back to another edition of All Things Outdoors. I'm out on another aircraft crash site hunt today, not too far from where the Percival Proctor crashed just across the freeway here, but this one is a really interesting one. This one is the crash site of a Supermarine Seafire. Now that might sound fairly familiar because this is actually the naval variant of the venerable Spitfire aircraft that won the Battle of Britain and protected the English Isles from being invaded by the Germans in the early part of Second World War. Now this aircraft crashed here on the 8th of August 1945. Now that date might sound familiar because it is literally the day before the second atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki in Japan, effectively ending the war. So really tragic that the pilot who actually died in this crash survived all the way up to the very day before the war effectively ended and was killed in an air crash. So we're going to go and check out this crash site here. Now there's not a lot of the aircraft left, so I've brought my Minelab Metal Detector to have a scan around the area and try and find the parts that are underneath the surface. So let's get to it. Alright, I've just arrived on the location and you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't see any aircraft. Well, unfortunately when the aircraft crashed here, it was completely destroyed. I believe the biggest part they were able to find of the aircraft was the engine, which was recovered and taken back to RAAF Flt where it stayed for many decades, I'm told. Now the reason I was able to find this place was a lovely lady by the name of Nairi who lives locally here, who's an ex-RAAFie herself, just like me, contacted me because she'd seen some of my videos about researching local aircraft wrecks and told me about this place. Otherwise I would have never known about it. Very, very obscure aircraft that crashed here and not really well known. But anyway, I've actually come here equipped with a device to help me possibly locate some of the wreck. Nairi's been here a couple of times and been able to locate small parts of it, but I'm going to have a go today with my trusty Go Find 22 metal detector that I picked up not that long ago. So we're going to give it a test run here today and see if we can find it. The Supermarine Seafire was the carrier-based variant of the famous Spitfire aircraft. Its downside was that it had poor range, requiring the installation of drop tanks. Our aircraft, Royal Navy Seafire PR-228, was the testbed for fitment of drop tanks to the type, which had occurred at RAAF Flt in Victoria. The aircraft was flown by senior test pilot, Flight Lieutenant Geoffrey William Schaffer of the Royal Australian Air Force. On the 8th of August 1945, following the completion of the test program, Flight Lieutenant Schaffer was flying the aircraft back to Royal Naval Air Station Bankstown. Just to the south of Barnawartha in northeast Victoria, the aircraft crashed. Some local reports suggested that the aircraft was on fire prior to crashing. Flight Lieutenant Schaffer was killed in the crash and the aircraft was completely destroyed. It's just yet another tragic death that occurred so close to the end of the war. So here is my very nice compact Go Find 22 metal detector, which is made by Minelab. Bought it from Anaconda for a very reasonable price, which you can see here on screen. And all it does is basically extends out and pull up the handle, and we're basically ready to go. Switch him on the side here, and we've got a few settings on the screen. It's very, very basic, very simple, but could be very useful. So you'll notice it's got a number of settings across the top there. This first one is for iron. Now, because most aircraft are made out of aluminium, we are going to turn off the iron setting, because there'll be this place through here be full of nails and God knows what else that was left over from the gold rush time. So if we can eliminate iron straight away, we'll be going good. Silly me, wore steel cap boots and forgot all about it, so I'm gonna have to keep the coil away from my feet. Or it looks a bit like we've got a little bit of a shard of aluminium of some sort. It's definitely not iron. Anyway, we're starting to find some bits. We'll keep looking and see if we can find something that's identifiable. Might put this one back in the ground and cover it up. Alright, let's continue the search. Well, we're less than half a metre from the last hole and we've hit another target. So let's have a dig and see what we find. Well, the part wasn't actually in the ground, it was on the surface, and it most definitely is an aluminium part, and I would say it is probably part of the aircraft. Looks like part of a flange or something. Quite thick though. I don't know, maybe flanges that pass through the firewall, somewhere in the engine compartment. Could even be part of a pulley perhaps. But yeah, that's definitely part of the aircraft, most definitely. Aluminium, quite old, quite thick, so I'm going to call that as part of the Supermarine Seafire that crashed here. Cool find, let's keep going. So I'll keep fossicking around in this area, just stay fairly close to where I found all these parts and see what else I can find. I've just spotted something though glistening in the sun over there. I wonder whether it's potentially part of the canopy. Let's go and have a look. Nope, I dare say it's not part of the canopy, but I don't know what it is. It's the bottom end of a jar, perhaps. Glass jar. It's not any aircraft part that I'm familiar with, unless it's some sort of light lens from back in the day. It's got these interesting little intricate steps on the bottom of it as well. Interesting. I am seeing a bit of evidence of habitation out here, some bottles laying on the surface, that sort of thing. But yeah, as for aluminium parts out here laying in the soil, probably... Oh, hang on. Whoa! I have just spotted a really big chunk of aluminium right here. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, that's cool. Looks like a stringer on the back side of it. There's even evidence, oh look at this, there's even evidence of paint on it. Now, most naval variants of aircraft back in those days had this really sort of interesting greenish, creamy colour on the underside of it. When you look at that paint job there, that's very close to that colour. So this could be sort of the underside, perhaps, of the aircraft. I can see some rivet holes there, and it's quite thick in this location, so I don't know if I can specifically call it a specific piece of the aircraft. Maybe forward fuselage perhaps around the engine, being quite thick, but that is an excellent find. I'm really pleased with that. Just laying on the surface too, didn't even have to dig for it. That's awesome. But as always, as we always say in these videos, pick up the parts, have a look at them, put them back where you found them. So we're going to put this one back here. Just as I turned around to go and pick up the metal detector again, not 2 meters away from that last big chunk that I found this one. Rivet holes in there, some holes through it that suggest some sort of weight reduction perhaps type thing, most likely some sort of stringer perhaps, not sure, quite a thin piece of aluminium here, so yeah, it might be a stringer of some sort perhaps, but awesome. They're just laying on the surface too. I've like really come across a really good spot finding lots of parts, so I'm going to just have a walk around here, sort of a bit of a 10 meter radius, and see what else I can find. What we got there? Looks like a bit of rubber. Not sure that that'd be part of the aircraft, although it does feel like it's quite hard and been out here for a while, but not sure. Anyway, put it back just in case. Check it out, we got a hit straight away. There it is. Yep. Rivet lines on there. Piece of aluminium. Definitely some sort of skin component, stringer. Something like that. Anyway, cool. We're still finding parts. Put him back in the hole. Another part already. Ah, there it is. Yep. Look at that. Another bit of aluminium. Rivet lines in it, another bit of skin, stringer, something like that, quite thin. Cool, chuck him back in the hole. Oh, there's a big chunk. That? I don't reckon it's straight aluminium. I think this is a bit of an alloy. That means it probably could be part of the engine perhaps. Anyway, probably won't know. Alright, I think we might wrap that up there. Let's fill this hole back in and we'll get going. Well, I'm super impressed with how my little Minelab detector's gone today. I've been able to find lots of parts, and you know, not just parts that could have come from anywhere. Most definitely aircraft parts, rivet lines, definitely aluminium. You know, finding that piece of skin with paint still on it, that was awesome. I'm really pleased with that. But as I always do, I like to take time to remember the memory of the pilot that died here, to Flight Lieutenant Geoffrey William Schaffer, and honour his commitment and service to the Australian people. And yeah, unfortunately another tragic end to a life. So thanks guys for watching. I want to thank everyone for watching these videos and helping me to remember the sacrifice of these men that died in these air crashes. So thanks guys, see you later.